Hello YouTube, welcome to my 2014 Joystick and HOTAS buyer's guide for the holiday season here. Now all of these sticks and HOTAS solutions that I'll be recommending, these aren't reviews, these are recommendations I own personally, have spent my own money on, haven't been given anything by manufacturers or anything like that. So my basic opinion is, would I recommend people go out and spend their money on this product or not? Now these are all North American mass market retail products. There are some specialty hobby and enthusiast products, as well as some options that are available in Europe that I will not be getting into because I've not been able to get them hands-on in the States, as well as the fact that a couple of the recommendations I'm going to be giving are horrendously expensive over in Europe. So some of my European watchers and listeners and all of that good stuff, I'm going to apologize for some of my recommendations, and I will point those out. So with that being said, let's get started. First recommendation would be the Logitech Extreme 3D Pro for those looking for an entry-level joystick at a reasonable price. It can be had for just about any day of the week for around $25 to $30, depending on where you buy it. It is available at most mass market consumer electronic retail stores, such as even Best Buy has it, although it's the most expensive there at $35. But it will also be available at places like Fry's or Micro Center if you have one of those nearby. You can also buy it from a number of online retailers, including Walmart.com and Amazon.com. Amazon usually has it for around $25, $26. Now, this is a potentiometer-based stick. That means that since it's a plastic potentiometer, it's going to wear out over time. You can expect to get 18 to 24 months out of a stick like this one under moderate normal use. If you're rougher on it, it's going to last significantly less period of time. And if you're really hard on it, it might only last 9 months to a year. So your mileage may vary depending on your usage. Overall, it's a very ergonomic stick, but it is quite narrow in circumference, so if you have overly large hands, you might find that it's a very confining, tight stick. It may not be the best for you, but overall, I find that it has plenty of buttons in the right spots. It's a very ergonomic stick. It is a right-handed molded controller, so it is made for right-handed users. It is not an ambidextrous stick. But if you're looking for a good budget option, this is it. Next up is my vote for best pure joystick on the market right now. It is the Thrusmaster T.16000m, and it has a lot of positives, a couple of negatives. But first of all, it's a Hall effect sensor instead of a potentiometer-based stick. As a result, it should never go out of an alignment, kind of like what happens with the Logitech Extreme 3D Pro, and therefore should last longer, provided that the buttons don't break. I think that's maybe the weak point of the joystick when it comes to quality control. But it can use Thrustmaster's target software, so everything is programmable. You can tweak axes, tweak what buttons do what functions and things like that using their third-party software, which is very, very handy. And it's also an ambidextrous stick, meaning it will work equally well for a left-handed as well as a right-handed user. So if you're looking to do a HOJAM solution, that's a hands-on joystick and mouse for, say, Star Citizen, or you're wanting to do a dual stick configuration, this is the joystick that you're wanting to use. Now, there's a caveat on the pricing here. It normally retails for between $45 and $60, depending on where you look online. It is available at many electronic retailers like Fry's and Micro Center. You won't find one, however, at a store like Best Buy. But the caveat here is that Micro Center usually has this stick on sale around the holiday Christmas shopping season for $20 each. It's been on sale for literally most of 2014 and even 2013 for between $20 and $30 from microcenter.com. Now, the caveat on this pricing is that's only good if you're within the United States. Micro Center will only ship within the United States, so if you're in Canada, Mexico, or in Europe, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to get it at its great price. As far as cons to this goes, the ergonomics of the stick isn't ideal, and two reasons for that. I think that the buttons on the head of the stick are kind of spaced out, so if you have smaller hands like I do, it can kind of be a stretch sometimes. Also, since it's an ambidextrous stick, the buttons on the base of the stick are mirrored, meaning half the buttons are always going to be relatively inaccessible or not easily accessible without taking your hand off the stick. So that's a couple minor ergonomic basic gripes that I have about it. But the positives with it being the most accurate stick, it's even more precise and just as accurate as the Warthog, its $300 cousin, and the ability to use Thrustmaster's target software and the fact that it is ambidextrous kind of makes up for its lack in ergonomics department. Next up is an option that I'm probably going to catch some flack for, because a lot of people do not like the T.Flight X HOTAS because it says the word HOTAS, and instantly in their minds they want to compare it to solutions that cost anywhere from 3 to 10 times as much. However, if you're looking for an entry-level budget HOTAS solution to see if you like the form factor, this is an option that is on par with the other budget joystick options in this category, basically $50 and under normal retail pricing. So it is a potentiometer-based stick, much like the Logitech Extreme 3D Pro. Longevity is going to be about the same. It cannot, however, use Thrustmaster's target software, so things aren't scriptable. And because of things like that, it lacks a lot of feature that other people think about when they hear the word HOTAS or hands-on throttle and stick. That being said, it is 16 buttons, just like the Extreme 3D Pro and T16000m. It does, however, have 5 axes. There's a little flapper switch or paddle switch on the back of the throttle that you can use to control rudder or another axes or weapon select or whatever you can map it to in game. Now keep in mind, this is a budgetary joystick. I consider this to be in the same category as the T16000m and Logitech Extreme 3D Pro. It can also double as a PlayStation 3 controller if you have a PS3. You can use it on that as well as the PC. It does split apart, or you can combine the two to have like one large unit, and the cable between the throttle and the stick are kind of small. I think it's only about 18 inches. So there are some downsides, but if you're thinking about going to a HOTAS and want to try it out, you can usually find this stick for between $50 or $45 to $60 like the T16000m. However, like the T16000m, it will go on sale at Micro Centers for around $20 in the holiday season and can be oftentimes found on sale between $20 and $30. So at $30, if you're looking to try out HOTAS without investing hundreds of dollars into another solution on the market, this is an excellent option to consider. Next up, we have my recommendation for a full HOTAS solution. Now, there's actually only one on the market today that I wholeheartedly recommend, as it delivers the best performance overall across a wide genre and types of flight and space combat games. However, there are a couple caveats here. One is if you primarily and almost exclusively fly DCS titles such as A10C or F-15 or Flaming Cliffs 3, there are 2 other HOTASs on the market that are designed and tailored specifically for the DCS series of games, and I do wholeheartedly say that they offer a superior experience for those games. And the other caveat being is if you're within the European Union or really anywhere else in the world outside of North America and the United States, the recommendation I'm going to give you is horrendously expensive there, if available at all. And that comes from CH Products. Now, CH Products does not offer a HOTAS in a box. The X55 or the Warthog you buy, and it comes with a throttle and a stick in the same box. With CH, you got to buy each component individually. As a result, you have a choice between 3 joysticks: the Flight Stick Pro, the Combat Stick, and the Fighter Stick. The Flight Stick Pro I don't recommend. Frankly, it's expensive for what you get, and you can get identical functionality, if not superior functionality, out of the T16000m for $20 to $40 less. That really leaves the decision between the Combat Stick and the Fighter Stick. The only difference between the two, the Combat Stick is $20, $30 less, has 2 single action buttons. The Fighter Stick is $20, $30 more, and replaces those 2 buttons with 2 more 4-way hats. Some people don't like having that many hat switches on their joystick, and as a result prefer to save $20, $30 and get the Combat Stick instead. In terms of overall game performance, it's going to be kind of half a dozen of one, 6 of the other. It's whatever your personal preference are. Next up is the CH Pro Throttle. The CH Pro Throttle actually has a full analog mini stick that is kind of the coup de grace feature that delivers a superior performance in space combat games, especially those with 6 degrees of freedom, such as Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen. You can map your maneuvering or strafing thrusters to those axes, and you gain basically the same benefits as having a dual stick configuration without losing the other advantages that having a HOTAS system offers you, especially if you're going to be playing other games than just Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen, such as Falcon BMS or Rise of Flight or War Thunder. So you really get the best of both worlds. The sticks themselves have a fairly light throw, wide throw, makes it perfect for dogfighting games, but they do lack twist, so you're going to require the CH Pro pedals to control yaw. Now you actually get three axes here. There's a toe brake on each one, as well as the shift left right. I personally prefer having rudder pedals. Some people prefer twist on joystick, but rudder pedals are easier on my wrists, and two, they deliver a far more accurate and precise experience once you get used to them. It's going to be rough if you've never used rudder pedals before the first couple of weeks until you really get down. And once you get it down, though, it does offer a generally superior experience to just having twist on the joystick. The other reason why I recommend CH HOTAS over other manufacturers is CH products themselves. Now, CH builds joysticks. This is all this company does, mostly for heavy machinery such as cranes and bulldozers and harvester combines, as well as for the military. They produce ruggedized industrial gear. It's also very expensive. Some of this has trickled down to their designs for their consumer lineup. In fact, their consumer lineup has been virtually unchanged in 20 years. The only difference between the CH gear I bought last year and what I had in 1995 was the fact that back in 1995 it was serial cables and game port cables. In fact, I didn't know this at the time, but more recently I found out that around 2000, 2001, CH actually offered a program that you could send in your serial cable and game port device cabled peripherals, and they would refurb them to USB and send them back to you. As a result, there are people out there using 15 to 20-year-old CH gear to this day and reporting that it works just as well as today as it did 20 years ago. And the reason behind that is, while other products may be metal on the outside, they're all plastic on the inside. That is not the case with CH products, especially their joysticks. While it is industrial ABS plastic on the outside, on the inside, that potentiometer is a metal industrial-grade potentiometer. As a result, when you have basically a piece of equipment that's designed for harsher weather and environments, and put it in a joystick that's going to be used in mainly a temperature and climate-controlled environment, under more light and moderate use, it's going to last for a very long time. It makes the products extremely durable. Additionally, they actually sell replacement parts for the joystick. So if a button or a switch does stop working, you can essentially just buy a replacement part for $20, $30. I think they usually come in a bag of replacement parts, and replace that switch very easily in the joystick. Usually with most other brands, you're either RMAing it, or if you're past warranty, you're buying a new setup if a button stops working, or a button breaks or something like that. With CH gear, you can actually order replacement parts. I know that's kind of a strange concept this day and age, but nonetheless, those are reasons why I continue to recommend CH over other brands. Also, it just happens to perform pretty darn well across the board, whether you're flying World War I and World War II games, or space combat games, or even jet sims. So, with that being said, let me talk about a HOTAS solution for either folks who are going to be playing DCS, or if you're within, well, anywhere else in the world where CH gear is either unavailable or horrendously expensive. And that is the Saitek Madcatz X55. Now, the reason why I leave this off my list of recommendations for North American users in 2014 happens to be that the HOTAS solution is brand spanking new. It's only been out for 9 months. We have no idea what its long-term durability is going to be like. Also, the X55 seems to have inherited the same quality control issues its predecessor, the X52, had. As a result, there's a higher than usual incident of RMAs with sticks and parts of the throttle breaking under normal use conditions. However, that being said, if you're flying DCS, I think that this is a worthy alternative to the Thrustmaster Warthog, as I don't believe the Warthog is $300 more HOTAS than the X55. Couple it with the primary fact that with the Thrustmaster Warthog, you still have to buy a set of rudder pedals. It has no twist. The X55 does offer twist, meaning you don't necessarily have to buy rudder pedals. So that means that on an average typical day, the Thrustmaster Warthog is going to cost you between $600 and $700, depending on what rudder pedals you choose to pair with it. So in terms of overall functionality, the Warthog doesn't buy you $300 more. Plus, the Warthog, while being metal on the outside, its key components on the inside are made of plastic. So it's plastic on the inside, metal on the outside. The metal is mainly a cosmetic feature. So you're paying $300 more because it looks like it's $300 more joystick. not that it really is in reality. So if you're going to be flying DCS a lot, or primarily DCS, I think it is a worthy alternative to the Warthog and designed specifically to meet the requirements of the DCS franchise. As well as if you're in the European Union, the X55 is widely available throughout the EU for, I believe, around €200. I think it's I think folks have told me they've got it for about £160 in the UK, but it's a much more widely available product throughout the European Union than, say, CH products. Since CH gear is primarily made in the US, the throttles are now made in Mexico. There's a lot of import duties and tariffs when you export technology like that to the EU. So that's one of the reasons why it's horrendously expensive. So I would like to take a moment here and say thank you to the now 600 plus subscribers to the YouTube channel, and be sure to like, subscribe, and share if you find these videos to be useful. It's been a very interesting 2014, and looking forward to a productive 2015 and more fun videos on the way. So I want to say thank you and happy holidays for 2014.